A love story. A love story of a young man named Brad and a young woman named Angelina. Any similarity to actual persons, events, or places are totally coincidental. It happened in a small village in a small island many, many moons ago. They had a peculiar custom. And the custom that is, if a young man wanted to marry a woman, he had to give a dowry. You know what a dowry is? A gift to the family of the bride. And so, but that's not peculiar because many cultures do that. But what was peculiar about this village was that the dowry had to be a cow. Because in that village, the most prized possession was a cow. And so the man had to give the family of the woman 1 to 10 cows, depending on how beautiful the girl was. And so Brad fell in love with Angelina. And he courted her for many, many months. And finally, the day came when he had the courage to go to the house of Angelina and ask for the hand of Angelina for marriage and speak to her father and her mother. And on that appointed day, with sweaty palms and shaking knees, he knocked on the door of the house of Angelina. And inside the house was the family of Angelina. No. The whole clan of Angelina was inside. 67 people crammed in a small house. And the mother of Angelina opened the door. And Brad was there, and the mother motioned him to come in, and then so he was very, very nervous, but he was trying to be man enough. And in the middle of the room were 2 chairs, as was the custom during that time, and the father was already seated on the chair, and he invited Brad to sit in the other chair, and all the relatives were surrounding them. And then he cleared his throat, and he said, "Sir, I'd like to ask for the hand of Angelina, your daughter, in marriage." And the father said, "Young man, I give you my blessing." And everybody cheered and clapped, and there was a lot of joy, and Angelina with her shy smile, and the sisters were all around her giving her a tight squeeze. It was really a happy event. And then finally Brad said, Sir, let us now talk. Can we talk about the dowry, sir? Okay. Can I give you a background before I continue the story? Before the father speaks, I want you to know how do they do this. You see, the decision of the dowry is not made on that day. No. It was done a long time ago. When Angelina was growing up as a girl, all the females of the family, the clan, the mother, the grandmother, the aunties, they already are talking. They see the girl growing up, and what do they say? Maybe she's a 3 cow. No, maybe she's 2. They talk in that way. Until finally, when Angelina is already in her teenage life, then everybody comes with an agreement, a consensus. And you see, this was the problem. Angelina was kind and sweet and intelligent, but physically she was not beautiful. She was not. And so the consensus was that she was a 1-cow woman. And they accepted that. And Angelina accepted that. And the mother accepted that. And everybody accepted that. So you see, before the father says, this is the dowry, the decision did not happen on that day. The decision happened not even weeks or months ago, but years ago. And so he said, You know, they looked at Angelina, the family looked at Angelina, and everyone accepted that there was something disproportionate about her. You know, her eyes were too large, her mouth was too wide, her lips were too thick, you know, that kind of thing. What? And so the father says, young man, for Angelina, you can give us 1 cow. And nods of agreement spread across the room. But at that moment, it was as though someone slapped the face of Brad. And he could not contain, he could not conceal the dismay on his face. And with a very firm voice, he said, "Sir, I beg to disagree. I will not give 1 cow for Angelina. She is not worthy of 1 cow." And there was a collective gasp among the people in the house. And the father stood up and he said, "How dare you insult me? And how dare you insult my daughter? And how dare you insult my family?" And Brad, you know, with complete composure, he looked at Angelina. And Angelina was in the verge of tears. She did not know what was happening, you know. And then he smiled at her. And then he looked at the father and he said, "Sir, Angelina is not only beautiful. She is more than beautiful. She is the definition of beauty. And for her, sir, I will give 10 cows." And again, everyone in the room said, and there was murmuring, quiet murmuring, talking with each other, relatives saying, "He's crazy. He's nuts. He's crazy." And the father could lost his voice for a while, and he spoke gibberish, and he said, "What? You're 10? No, son, it's a tradition. No, sir. No, you can't. 10. But he insisted. And so the wedding took place. And the 10 cows were given. And Brad and Angelina went to their new house and lived. But this is not the end of the story. Because, you see, as the years went by, they noticed something happening to Angelina. Angelina, they noticed that her face began to be more alluring and more radiant. And what happened was that after a while, the whole village realized that she was the most beautiful woman in the entire village. Ask me why. You see, in that village, if you get married, you see, you carry subconsciously in your mind your dowry value. And everybody looks at one another in that way as well. It was a common thing. You know, the village seamstress, she's a 3-cow wife. The wife of the butcher, she's a 5-cow wife. You know, the wife of the doctor, oh, she's a 6-cow wife. Oh, the woman sweeping the streets, she's a 2-cow wife. But only Angelina was the 10-cow wife. And Angelina started walking like a 10-cow wife. And she started talking like a 10-cow wife. And related to everyone as a 10-cow wife. And she became the most beautiful woman in the village. And I share this to you for 2 simple messages. Actually, it's 1 message, but I broke it into 2. Number 1, your behavior comes from your beliefs. Say that with me. Your behavior flows from your beliefs. Many people, they try to change their behavior. They try to change it. But you see, it's futile. Many times it won't work. For a while it will work and then it will not work. You try to change an activity of behavior. You've got to change what? Belief. Because when you change your belief, you'll be able to change your behavior. Angelina, she started thinking in a different way, looked at herself in a different way, and her behavior changed, and her appearance changed.